Hello, my name is Kaisha.
And I'm Veronica.
And we want to welcome you back to the Bantu Village. So we know it's been a while since we did our last long video. And what I've been trying to do is shorts along the way so that you could be involved and kind of see some of the activities that we've been up to and kind of stay engaged with this journey that we've been on, right, here in Tanzania. And so if you go to our channel, you'll see there's been a number of different shorts that we've been doing, but we haven't done a long video because we've been so
very busy,
inundated with so many different things that, you know, that's been taking up our time. And it does take some time to put together the long videos. But I think we're at a time right now where I think it was really important for us to do another long video and kind of get people updated as to happening. You know, some of the things that we've been involved in and what we've been doing.
Yes.
In the meantime, we have been I have been you know, adding videos to our other channel, which is The Book Is Now Open, which is a more prophetic series that we've been doing, and kind of keeping people updated as to where we are in time, what is unfolding, what we should be aware of, and how we need to be preparing ourselves. So that's what The Book Is Now Open is about. And, you know, so we've been doing a few videos on that. And we also had started a small Bible study group. So on Sabbaths, we've been meeting together and we've been having worship on and studying the Bible, learning and growing spiritually. And that has been, you know, I think another really rewarding thing that we've been doing. And we also moved to a new location. So we're no longer where we were when we moved to this area. We moved to another location I think is more accommodating to, you know, what our needs are. Before we were in two separate houses, two small but separate houses. And I think that it's good that we're now under one roof.
Exactly.
And, you know, a couple of other things that are nice is that we have more space. We can do our own gardening. We can grow some of the fruits and vegetables that we would like to have. And so I did some shorts where you can kind of see a little walk through our garden and see some of the things that we have been able to plant, cultivate, and harvest. And so, you know, that has been a blessing, I think.
Exactly.
The next thing that we want to do is kind of give you an update as to where we were when we last left off. And that was our return trip from Israel. And we had done videos on the experience in Israel. And I think now we want to kind of pick back up where we last left off. So after we returned from our trip to Israel, which then that was the last long video that we had done where we had talked about our experience there. And it was actually not too long after we came back that I remember there was some turmoil that was starting.
Right.
I think you were saying something about a bus.
Some attack was on a bus.
There was some change in leadership that was going on. There were some protests. And so there was, you know, quite a bit of unrest that was happening at that time. And the following year was 2023, because we came back in 2022. And 2023, it was near the end of September. So it was around the time of Feast of Tabernacles that you had that dream.
That I had that dream.
And so tell us about the dream you had.
Well, my dream was that I was in this place that I wasn't overly familiar with. It was like not deep into a city, but the surroundings had tall buildings and the streets were busy. And I was standing and looking around when this young lady, dressed like an Israeli soldier, she had on her uniform, and she approached me and said, "What are you doing here? And who are you?" And she was so direct with her questions that after she asked me and I responded, I said, you know what? She was bold enough to ask me all of these questions. Let me ask her who she is. So I said, and who are you? And she said, she kind of hesitated, looked at me and said, I'm boots on the ground. And looked around again, and another young lady came and said something to her. And she kind of glanced around at the surroundings and came up to me and close enough to me and said, get the hell out of here. And I was stunned. I just looked at her, looked around, and began backing up to leave. And when I was leaving, I saw that there was like a train station close by. And there was a long corridor, and it was filled with young people, girls and young men, walking towards catching the train. And I saw one of my grandsons in the group of people that were traveling. And he smiled at me, and he wasn't able to leave the stream of the line that he was in, but he continued walking, and all of them were just like intent on catching the train. And then I left. That was more or less like the way my dream ended.
So the line seemed like maybe they were lining up to be
To go to the
drafted
train.
or something like that.
And what my thought was, they look as though they are going to be drafted or something, since she talked about boots on the ground. So that was my impression then. And soon after that was within a week and a half or so, it was the Feast of Tabernacles, and we heard of the attack on Israel. Yes.
Yeah.
That was just before the end of the Feast of Tabernacles.
And so that goes back to when we were saying during our decision to go to Israel that that might be the last opportunity that we would have to go before,
Yes.
there was a
Yes.
huge uprising and it would be too difficult to go there. And it's just amazing that our impression is exactly what happened.
And we didn't even think we would have had the opportunity to go either, because of the many restrictions with the COVID. And so it was a relaxation of all of that that allowed us to go.
That's right, because I remember I was following the channel of somebody that went there, and I remember that, I was thinking when I saw him there, I was like, how did he get there? Because I know he didn't take certain things that, they were requiring in different countries. So I looked into it, and I saw that they had relaxed a lot of the requirements that they were demanding people to have before entering the country. And so I think that was when I said to you, because we needed to leave anyway due to visa issues and all of that. And I was saying to you, I think this might be the window for us
That's right.
to go to Israel. And I remember a friend of mine had always told me, and I had mentioned this before, that if I ever went to reach out to his family. And so that's how the whole thing kind of played out and unfolded. And I do believe that it was a blessing.
Very much
that
so.
was made available for us to go at that time, because I think, like, if it was now, we probably never would have gone.
No,
we never would have gone. So I think the Father opened that opportunity, that window, at exactly that right time to go and have that experience.
And we were blessed to follow.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I feel that he was our tour guide while we were there, because the experience that we had, even when we talked to other people about it, it's like, it was unbelievable.
Yes.
It was so amazing. And, it was just one of those amazing trips. It's one of the best trips. When I look at, all of my travels that I've had, that was one of my best travel experiences that I can remember. So some of the things that we have been engaged in since we came back to Tanzania from our trip to Israel is that we were able to move forward with the registration of our for-profit company, which is the Bantu Village, and our NGO, which is Abeja International Development. And Abeja International Development is focusing on social and economic development issues. And some of the things that we've been able to do thus far is we were able to help some students with their tuition so that they could complete their program. We were able to support the renovation of a primary school. One of the walls just completely collapsed. And so we were able to assist with getting the materials and the like so that they could rebuild the wall so they continue studying in the school. And then we are in the process of working on a program for the orphans. We had an opportunity to go out and to meet with some of the orphans that are in a local village close to where we are, and kind of hear some of the issues and the challenges that they've been having. And so we're right now in the process of trying to see if we can develop a program to support that, vulnerable population right now. And so one of the things that I will say is that if you do have an interest in seeing what you can do to support some of those that are the most at risk and vulnerable here in Tanzania, definitely get in contact with us. And I'll make sure that we have our contact information and all of that for Abeja International Development. And, you can reach out to us, and then we can see what we can do to support some of the initiatives that we have that we're planning and we're working on right now. In regards to the Bantu Village Limited is the agricultural company that we have. And we have been doing a lot with that. And I will say that this has been an amazing learning experience because I would say that I have a brown thumb. I do not have a green thumb. My mom is the one who has the green thumb and is good at growing things in the garden and the like. Me, not so much. But I've been learning a lot through this process. And what we have been able to successfully grow thus far is maize. We were able to plant and cultivate and harvest maize. 2 times now we've been able to harvest maize. We were able to also grow some soya. We were able to grow beans, watermelon, pumpkins, sunflowers. So, so there's been a number of things, and we're looking to continue to look at how we can expand and each year do better than the last. And this is important because I remember when we first started, that was the beginning of 2023, the end of 2022, the very beginning of 2023. We had planted soybeans.
Yes.
And we had to go to Dar because there was some business that we needed to take care of. So we had to go to Dar, and we planted. We made sure that we did the planting. The rainy season was about to start, so we planted. We had some people come in and do the cultivation and planting, and then we left to go to Dar. And I had one of our workers go back and take a look and see how things were going. And he had sent me video footage of what he saw when he went back to take a look at the area that we had planted, and not one thing was growing. And I was like, what in the world? Is there something wrong with the soil? Like, what in the world is happening? And it was only the following year when we did planting again that we found out what the problem was. So the problem was the monkeys. Nobody was there to see what was happening on the farm. And so the monkeys came and they cleaned out the entire area. All the seedlings that were coming up, they cleared the fields. And so that was the biggest issue that we had. And it was so disheartening. But, one of the things that I think is encouraging is that each year is better than the last.
That's right.
So that was the first year that we tried. Exactly. That first year, nothing. Second year, definitely much better than the first year. The last year, it was better than the previous year. So each year, we're seeing that there's an improvement. And so that, I think, is the thing that keeps us going, that is encouraging, because the idea is to really utilize the success of the Bantu Village and the proceeds from Bantu Village to contribute and support the work of Abeja International Development. And so it's important that Bantu Village does well so that it can pour into the NGO and do some of the social and economic development programs that we're wanting to roll out.
Exactly.
So additional things that we have learned through this agricultural endeavor that we've been on is, besides creating jobs, because we did create quite a few farming jobs through the agricultural development business, we also were able to acquire some farming equipment. We were able to purchase some dogs so that we could use them for security because of what happened the very first time with the monkeys. We wanted to make sure that we had dogs that were available on the farm to ensure that the monkeys cannot just go and just clean our farm up and, all that we've invested in, remove our investment. So we got the dogs so that we will be able to, provide some security of the surrounding area. And from that, we've gotten quite a few puppies.
That's right.
So
we started with how many dogs? About 8? Is it 8 about 8?
Well, I think we have 8 or 9 dogs now. But I think when we started, it was initially like 5 or 6, right? And then we had the security guys that added their dogs to it. But, some of the dogs that we were able to purchase, they were able to have puppies. And so that's where we've had, we're on our, 3rd litter now?
The 3rd.
We're on our 3rd litter of these puppies.
We have 10 running around.
10 puppies running around right now.
Getting into mischief.
A lot of mischief. They are so vivacious and mischievous and cute as can be. So, so we are raising some puppies right now. And, so this has been an amazing, really experience. Back home, we really didn't have any animals.
We had a dull life.
Right. It's
very dull.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been...
To compare.
It's like, I don't think that we have any really a lot of downtime. I feel like there's so much activity that is constantly happening that is keeping us very busy, which is one of the reasons why it's taken us so long to do our next long video. So this is why we're like, no, we need to do this. But yeah, so we were able to get some dogs to support and, protect the perimeters around the land. But we also have had to navigate some challenges. I had mentioned some of the crops that we have been growing. We also have been growing rice because we have an area in the back that's near the water, and we have been able to grow some rice there. The challenge that we had at this past season is the drought. We had a drought that happened, and I think it was a wake-up call in the importance of having a good irrigation system because we did not have one. And so, we've been having to navigate and figure out how to get around and still accomplish what you're trying to do with the limited resources that you have. So one of the things that we're trying to do now is make sure that we have the canals and the water flowing into that area so there will be a constant source of water so that we don't run into that same issue that we had last time. So that's one thing that we're working on with the drought. Like I mentioned, we have the dogs to deal with the monkeys so that we can chase them away and let them go somewhere else and not to devastate our crops again. We do have some pests, and so we're trying to come up with as much as possible natural ways to deal with pests because I really wanted to have as much as possible an organic farm. But there's been some challenges. But yes, we are, trying to come up with ways to keep down the pests so it doesn't do a lot of damage to our crops. We do have challenges with the country road to get to the farm. It's not paved or anything. And so when it is a rainy season, there are certain areas where it is just a nightmare to travel through. It is muddy. It is the kind of clayish soil, so your tires can get stuck in it. So we have been stuck multiple hours, every rainy season. There's been challenges. I think, we have gotten better at how to navigate around them, but it still, is a big challenge that we often have to deal with, the roads. Yeah. And then, and right now, because we don't have a good irrigation system, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go and see a farm that has a good irrigation system set up. I wanted to see, what can be done to make sure that areas that need to have water are able to get access to the water. And so we're still kind of laying out plans and trying to work out what we can do with the resources we have and to be successful at it. So, I mean, that's...
And with the challenges, oh my, there have been many.
There have been many.
With the workers, with the management.
Yes.
But one thing that we can rely on is the Father in heaven. And what he promises, he never breaks his promises.
Right.
He said that he'll be with us always.
Exactly.
Once we have that close and intimate relationship with him, we can't go wrong. So I think the challenges made us stronger.
Definitely.
It taught us many things that we were not aware of. And it made us stronger and more resilient. There are times when we were very down about some of those challenges, but the Father always brought us through them better than when we started.
Absolutely.
So that is an encouragement to anyone. This is not a walk in the park. You've got to be faithful, you've got to be honest, and you've got to have your faith and trust in the Father in heaven.
Absolutely. I think that
is what has brought us through.
Absolutely.
The way that it has.
Absolutely.
And our harvest was bountiful.
Yeah, our last harvest,
the last harvest was bountiful.
Yes.
Even though the rice, there was the drought, we still got more than we thought we would have.
Because some people got nothing.
Nothing.
You know, because of the drought. Because it affected everybody. Those that were growing maize, a lot of their crops were dried out and they lost their crops.
Yes.
As well as others who were growing rice. It was a challenge.
And even here in our neighborhood, they're growing rice not far away from us because of the water.
Yeah.
And we walked over there, and some of the what you call them, the seed pods were empty. Remember?
Yeah, the shells. Yeah.
So they got nothing much to talk about.
So a lot of people were impacted by the drought that happened, and I think it is an example of why having a good irrigation system is so vitally important.
Yes.